right, welcome into the Rob and Kale Show. I'm Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining me this evening. My buddy Carolina Jackpot will be joining us here shortly. Tonight, we're going to talk about which teams can actually win the NCAA tournament. I'm still wearing my chef's hat in honor of Ian Scheffler, who's going to bring Clemson to the promised land. Some folks talking math with a good comment here. It's going to be hard to be productive the next 4 days, but he's going to push through. Yeah, not a lot of work being done there, but I'm going to give you, as we wait Jackpot to join us here, I'm going to give you the teams that are going to that have the best chance or have the metrics to win the NCAA tournament. Now, where do I come up with this? Well, it's pretty simple. According to since 2002, every NCAA tournament champion has had an offense ranked inside the top 40 of the KenPom rankings and a defense ranked inside of the top 25 of those rankings. So, with that, we look at UConn last year. They were first on offense and fourth on defense. Okay? For those of you who have not entered your bracket in the Callaway's Bracket Challenge, the link is in the bio. Here's the thing that you need to know as you're filling out your bracket, especially if you're one of those folks that are, I don't watch basketball. Okay, that's fine. You can still enter a bracket and possibly take home some cash. All right. So there you go with that. But here's the thing. I'm going to put the line out here for you guys to get on in a moment. But here's one thing we do have is that there are 13 teams currently that could, according to KenPom, can win the national title. Now, if you are an Alabama fan, you do not fit that criteria. Alabama is not in the mix. Same thing goes for Ole Miss, UCLA, Michigan, Texas A&M, Kentucky. Kentucky is 8th offensively, but 57th defensively. So they are kind of a gong show. Not to piss on Big Barney Ross's team there, but another team that I'm high on that is disqualified from these rankings is St. John's. They went 30-4 and won the Big East, but they're 64th ranked offense. They do have the top ranked defense though. So 6-1, half a dozen of another there. So with that, I'll give you some other teams that aren't in the mix. Kansas, nope, 48th and 11th. St. Mary's, 56th and 8th. BYU has the 12th best offense and the 68th ranked defense. It's not going to get it done. Also, Texas Tech is at 6th and 37th, although there's a lot of people that really like Texas Tech. Now, a lot of these metrics can be thrown out the window. If what happened to American tonight, their best player blowing out his knee 8 minutes into a game, and then they played strong but still lost by 11. They were a 3-point favorite in their matchup with Mount St. Mary's. Injuries obviously can have an effect here. So I've given you teams that can't win according to the KenPom. All right? But here are teams that can. Auburn. They are first offensively, 12th defensively. The most balanced is Duke, second offensively, 4th defensively. Houston is 11th and 2nd. So I'll give you the offense and the defense. Octavian's here this evening. He's talking about his Florida Gators. They are 3rd and 7th. 2 more SEC teams fit that criteria. Not the Alabama Crimson Tide. We put that out there. But Tennessee, 18th on offense, 3rd on defense, and Ole Miss, a team that's 31st on offense, 25th on defense. Now, there are 3 ACC entrants that fit the mix there. Clemson, 24th and 15th. Also, Louisville, 27th and 21st. Very balanced teams, very old teams. And I say that in the nicest way that I can here. But old teams win games. It's kind of the way that it works. Also, other teams in the mix include Michigan State, who they struggle a little bit on offense, 29th, but 5th on defense. Wisconsin at 10th and 33rd. Michigan at 37th and 16th. Maryland at 28th and 6th. UCLA at 36th and 17th. And Iowa State is 20th and 5th. Now, bear in mind, Iowa State is also dealing with losing their best player. And there are a lot of folks that are thinking, Lipscomb may have the opportunity to beat them there. All right, so I'm going to text Jackpot here and make sure he's all right, because normally he would be here by now. Let's see where Jackpot is. He may have fallen asleep. Give him a minute here. It's nice to see Harry in the mix. Haven't seen Harry in a bit. Let's see here. There you go. All right, so if you guys want to join the show this evening, I've told you. I don't know why it's freezing. Sorry. Anyway, I've told you who is going to win the tournament. It's going to be one of those 13 teams according to the metrics. We'll see if that tradition continues. It's been a 22-year streak. You got those teams right there in the mix. Octavian asked if Clemson's in the tournament. I don't even know. Octavian needs to stick to basketball. Georgia is not in the mix. I will look up their rankings for you there. Walk It Off Sports. Let's see here. I'll look those up for you right now. Let's see your KenPom rankings. Georgia. Here you go. So, let's see here. So, offensive rankings, we have. So, we just sort by offensive rankings. I'm looking for Georgia here. Oh, we can just sort them by conference. That'll work out really good. Oops. I'll pull those for you in a minute. Will says, did Florida make the tournament? Yes, Florida made the tournament. I'm scrolling down looking for Georgia here, and I'm not trying to mock you Georgia fans because I think Georgia's a good team. But let's see where Georgia ends up in the current KenPom rankings here. Where is Georgia? Okay, they're in there. Let's see here. They got to be up here somewhere. Oh, Georgia. Here we go. Georgia is 96th in defense on the defensive rankings. I'm sorry, yeah. So that's where the Georgia gets you there. I'm sorry. Hold on. Make sure I got this right. Yeah, Georgia's way down in the mix there. Not quite where you want to be. So there's that. What's going on with Harry? Something wrong with Harry over there. That's not good. Harry in the mix here. Gonzaga is a bad matchup for a lot of people. People forget that at the beginning of the season, Gonzaga was a top 10 team. They ran into some problems, but still a good team. Grub asked, what seed did South Carolina get in the men's tournament? Jackpot was here. He would not be happy with that. All right, look, I'm going to bring some folks in here. Let me bring the link over here. If you would like to join the show, I've given you the 13 teams that, according to analytics, they are going to go to they're going to win the tournament. Now, some of those are bigger than others. I don't think Clemson's going to win the tournament. Let's get that out there. Do I think Clemson can go to the Final Four? Yes, I do. I really do. Do I think that I think that Houston is going to be a team that everybody's like, you know what? They are rated so highly every year, and this is supposedly the best team that Kelvin Sampson's ever had. And yet we don't know where. I think they're going to end up falling, to be honest with you. But I like the metrics thing a little bit there, because when you see it, just for some reason that always checks out at the end of the season. I mean, 22 years in a row since they started it. The teams that finish with the numbers that I gave you are going to be in the mix for the NCAA tournament. Is there going to be some Cinderellas? Yeah, people love Drake. Go and check them out. I don't know if I'm really buying what Drake's selling, but I've watched them play. Solid basketball team. Solid basketball team. You know who else could be a problem? And not a lot of people want to talk about it, but Texas could be a problem. North Carolina last night. Remember, everybody and their brother was writing off the North Carolina Tar Heels. Oh, my God, they're terrible. They don't belong in the tournament. What did they do? They went out last night and hammered a San Diego State team that some people had picked to win a couple of games. Okay? North Carolina has talent. And the key for North Carolina to win, they're going to play good defense regardless. If North Carolina is hitting that three-point shot, they don't live and die by the three, but they roll if they're hitting the three. Just saying. Walk It Off Sports says, just happy Georgia's in it. It does show some improvement. Yeah. You know, it's strange to me that, and I know that I'm sounding like I'm like on a tangent here, but I don't think that athletic programs like Georgia, Clemson, insert teams that are really good in football here. Okay. I think it's possible to have a good football program and a good basketball program. Oregon's kind of doing it. I mean, they're in the tournament. They were right there in the mix, to win the Big Ten this year. You can have both. Is it hard to do? Yes. Is there a point where it feels like you're taking away from the football team? I don't think so. I really don't. But I do think that there's a lot of these so-called blue bloods, UConn. I mean, I want to say Kentucky, but they've been a shithole for a while now. Insert your teams here. I mean, we could talk about, as far as Duke, teams like that, they're going to suck a lot of the oxygen out of the room. Okay. But if you build teams and have them sort of like we use Clemson as an example, where they've got all of these players that are juniors and seniors. Daddy, they've got a backcourt that's set up with later on, buddy.
What did the Amtrak auto train come?
Later on. We'll go on the Amtrak train later.
The auto train.
The auto train, yeah. Later on, okay?
Electric and diesel.
Oh, yeah, let Dad finish the show, okay?
It has 3 locomotives on it.
I hear you. Anyway, what I was saying before my son and I were going over the train schedule is you have these old teams that can, have a shooting star type performance. What I mean by that is that they're going to be solid anyway. But
Daddy has a beard.
Yes.
I rub Daddy's beard.
I like rubbing my beard. Thank you, son.
Leave my beard. Leave my beard alone.
Yeah, leave my beard alone. Go rub your own beard.
Daddy has look, you shave Daddy's mustache with beard.
Later on, buddy.
You kind of shave your beard and a mustache.
Okay, let Dad finish the show, son. All right. Anyway, if you build your team like that, you can have some success. Now, can you have it completely forever? Hello, Scarlett. And be consistently in the tournament like we can use Kentucky as an example. They turned their whole roster over. Clemson can't build a team like that. Because when people think basketball, they don't think Clemson. But they'll start to think Clemson if Clemson has another run to the Elite Eight, the Final Four, whatever, 2 straight seasons where they've won some games in March. But, maybe some recruits will look at that and be like, hey, because when you look at Clemson's roster as far as 5-star players, they don't really have any. They don't. So there's that. Now, Duke's got 5-star players, or no, I think Duke's got 8 5-star players on their roster, which is 8 more than Clemson's got. Now, should Duke go far? Yeah, and they probably will. But Duke's team next year won't be anything like the team that's this year. It'll be a completely different set of players. So there's that. All right, Brian gets the thing with the hat. Thank you, sir. All right, so if you want to talk about who you like, who you don't like, as I'm sending a message to Jackpot. I haven't heard. Jackpot probably fell asleep, and that's, bless his heart. He was tater chipping the day, as he calls it. So it's back to the old rundown days where I do the show by myself, which isn't a big deal. Anyway, if you'd like to join the show, there's the link. Have at it. Would love to have you guys join us here. I don't know where Jackpot is. He may have just fell asleep. I'm not gonna call and wake him up. I'm sure he'll feel bad about it. He'll do one of his videos driving down the road tomorrow, I'm sure. So, big thing is make sure you get into the Callaway's Pick'em Challenge. We've got, I think there's we're trying to push for 50 people. I think we're getting close. I don't know. I got to look at how many people are in there. I haven't really checked that yet. But I'm going to put the link right here for you. And Doc is pay. That's funny. Yeah. we could possibly do that. No, we're not going to do that. Jackpot's sleeping. Let's see here. Brian says he went Michigan State and Duke in the final. Look, it's kind of hard not to think that might be good. Welcome into the program, Mr. VicTube. How are you, sir?
Yeah. I'm just glad that my Georgia Bulldogs are in the tournament. It's been forever since we.
When was the last time Georgia was in the tournament? Do you remember?
What, like 2014 or 15 or something like that? Yes, but it's been about 10 years. Yeah.
Well, I don't think you're going to go very far because
I don't either.
But Gonzaga's really good. So, but that has nothing to do with Georgia being bad. I just think Gonzaga's just better. I think you guys got a horrible draw.
Right. Well, I think we might be able to beat. I think that we might be able to beat Gonzaga, but yeah, we're definitely not getting past Houston. So,
Bulldogs last were in 2015. They advanced. The last advance past the first round in 2002. So it's been 22 years since you've gotten out of the first round of the tournament.
It's been 23 years, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's not including here, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's 20. Last time you went was 2015. Last time you won a game was 2002. That's what I just said, Billy. 2002, sir. So there you go. Yeah, well, I don't expect much from Georgia.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sports Talk with Tom Bailey says roll tide. If he would have been here earlier, he would have learned that according to the metrics, Alabama does not have a shot to win the national title. So,
I picked Florida in my bracket.
Well, you got one of the 13, sir. One of the 13, according to the KenPom metrics, that are going to win the national title. So your chances of winning are pretty good.
Yep.
Florida's metrics are really good. Really good. So there you go with that. Billy has a good point here. We heard that you can't spell. Is that true?
Well, yeah. Well, my first word I had was phenomenon. I got that one wrong, and the second one was perseverance. Yeah, but I wasn't the only one who couldn't spell, but yeah.
Yeah, well,
I came very close to spelling phenomenon. I spelled phenomenon. I forgot the O-N on the end, so.
I'm just disappointed that, Uncle Lou was, let's just be honest. He was not a good coach. He had Jackpot sitting on the bench for the spelling bee. Jackpot can spell.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sent up a bunch of dopes that can't spell, obviously, because no one got a word correct. You know what? I'd bet a country nickel that Jackpot would have gotten at least one of those words right. Nobody else got one, but Jackpot would have.
Yeah.
I believe that. So there you go.
Tucci got the winning word. So.
Well, good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
Do you have a favorite upset pick that you like there, buddy?
Well, let's see. I did pick High Point to beat Purdue. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and I picked Grand Canyon, whoever they were playing, Maryland, I think. Yeah.
Grand Canyon, yeah. All right. Well, hey, Victor, appreciate it, buddy. You have a good evening, all right?
Okay, see you.
See you later. VicTube joining the show. Billy, our
Good
defending
afternoon.
Callaway's Bracket Challenge champion.
Hey,
He's the defending champion. We don't argue with hardware around here. You're toting the damn trophy, sir.
yeah. I went with, as bad as I hate to say it as a Tennessee fan, I went with Florida to win it all. If you're going to bet money and you want to win, right now Florida's probably playing the best basketball of anybody. I've got Florida. I had to go with Florida.
Well, they according to the metrics, sir, you are probably one of the 13. One of the 13 teams that are right there, supposedly, that the computer says, hey, they've got a chance to win.
And my Cinderella team is keep a look out at St. John's. Watch what they do.
St. John's, by the way, has issues on offense. So there's that,
Yeah, but
can you stomach Octavian if I bring him on?
sure. We'll talk about
Octavian, welcome to the program.
How you doing, buddy?
Hi, Octavian. How are you, sir?
you on break.
Yeah, what you got there, buddy?
Florida's gonna win.
This is where you.
I'll tell you about it.
All right. Well, we already read your comment in the comment section, sir. Why are they going to win? Is it because Billy said so? Because he's the defending champion?
He's not gonna win nothing. Just wanna let y'all know.
Hey, Octavian, I got a question for you. It's one thing in baseball to play a FCS team and have to use the Cinderella team, but when you beat Florida 3 games in a row and have to use the Gurley mercy rule in a baseball game against Florida, tell me about that. What happened?
We had all weekend.
Yeah, you did. Just a little bit.
Yeah, we did.
Mercy rules for girls softball. I didn't know they had a mercy rule in baseball.
Yeah.
We'll kick y'all ass in the tournament. Don't worry about that. Just like South Carolina.
Well,
You're not. I hate to break this to you, Octavian, but there is no shot that you will play South Carolina in the tournament this year. No shot.
Yeah, they're sorry.
I'm just saying you don't have a chance to play them. Don't get upset.
I think Tennessee will probably win 3 games, maybe 3.
Three games sounds all right. Tennessee's one of those teams that have the numbers too, sir. So
Yeah, well.
But anyway, we're gonna win a national championship, buddy.
What, girls softball?
No, basketball and baseball.
Well, I hope they do, because that's where I put my money, as bad as I hate to say it.
Well, I mean, your coach is a pervert. We know that. And that's been documented here on the
There you
program.
go. Peg and Megan have to start with these rumors, man.
It's not a rumor. It's a documented fact. He sent pictures of his penis on Instagram to people.
Oh no.
Oh,
Pervert. They have the pictures. What do you want?
man. Oh no. What planet y'all on?
What?
What planet y'all on? He did not see those pictures. That's a rumor. I think Peg and Megan did it because he, Georgia sucked.
I think Peg and Megan's a stand-up dude, but I don't think Peg and Megan has an Instagram account. I'd bet a country nickel on that too. He ain't buying that. All right, well, Octavian, hopefully your Florida Gators can do well for you. And you know what? I have to do my Michael Jackson impersonation and walk something back. I said when you came on the program, you could only talk about softball because that's the only sport you're relevant in. You are allowed to talk about about basketball because, hell, you won the SEC tournament. You were one of the number 1 overall seeds. You've earned enough where you can actually talk about basketball. So basketball and softball are the 2 sports that you can talk about. Everything else, not so much.
Sir, we're gonna teach y'all lessons in football anyway. Especially Tennessee.
You're not on the Clemson schedule, sir.
Sorry. Tennessee.
Well, you didn't last year, so you had 5 first and goals and couldn't score. What does that mean?
Yeah.
I can't beat us in the swamp. It's gonna be forever for y'all to beat us today.
5 first and goals and could not score.
Where's Schultz at? Where's Schultz? Is that Schultz?
He's in the comments section clowning you, sir.
Yeah.
Go over and get Schultz.
Right. Octavian, your connections, it sounds bad, but I'm about to drop you off, but I appreciate it.
He's working the drive-through, talking to the speaker at the drive-through.
Let's not mock the guy now. I mean, that's his job. He's got a job. He works. Leave him alone. Shit.
There you go.
There's lots of people that don't work. He's one of them that does. Leave him alone.
That's fixing to come to an end pretty soon.
All right. Well,
I'd be mad too if I had to go. I ain't gonna say that. Never mind.
Tom, welcome to the program.
Good evening, guys. Billy, I think you're right. I think Florida will win it all. So I think that's who I would pick to win it all if I was filling out the bracket. I think Tennessee's going to do good. I think Alabama will make it to like the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8 and get bounced out by Duke.
Well, you don't have any murderers, sir. You don't have any murderers on this Alabama team, so you guys do well when you have your guys from the penal colony on the team, but you don't have any of those this year.
We didn't have no murderers last year.
You had guys that were charged with murder.
Oh no.
Yeah. Why is it? Am I the only one that reads shit, Billy? You know what I'm talking about.
I don't know. I know. I try to come on here and be nice. I'm
not. I
know. I'll let you hang it. I'll let you handle it.
You know,
I don't think Duke's going to go because I'm not so sure Cooper Flagg's ankle is well.
Well, we'll see. Hold on. Let's bring Tom back because he dropped off. Tom, sorry, buddy, you dropped off there. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. No, he was that player was it was self-defense. If you go back and actually read the court records and all that, it was clearly self-defense.
Cool.
So I mean, he didn't murder. It was self-defense.
Somebody ended up dead, and he was in court for it, though.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there's going to be an investigation. Yeah, there's going to be an investigation, but.
Damn, he keeps dropping.
I didn't drop him. Let's make sure that people understand that. I did not drop him off.
He needs to get in the tournament. Why is he in a tournament? That's what people are asking over in the comments. Get in the tournament.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, Tom, you need to get into the bracket challenge. I'm going to put it over here for you.
Hey, I got my son into it. I sent my son in San Antonio last night. His name is Billy Cole, too.
Yeah.
Would you know Jackpot woke me up at 9:30 this morning to ask me about, did I make another entry? Was I going to pay for it? I said, that's not me. That's my son.
Respectfully, sir, why is it Jackpot's waking you up at 9:30 in the morning? Don't you get up and, I don't know, go to Hardee's or something that old people do?
About 10:30. They serve breakfast till noon. Yeah, my phone dinged and I said, who's this? And it said Jackpot. He said, did you make another entry? I said, no, that's my son. So he said he'd make a note of it. Then he was telling me about some guy that keeps calling y'all wanting money.
Yeah, I
think that's Big Barney Ross.
no, it's really not.
Oh, it's not. Oh, bless his heart.
It's something real. I don't want to get into it on the show, but it's like, holy crap with all that. You know, it's like, you know, we try to pick our contests where they're not that expensive, so everybody can join. But you know, I mean, we can't comp everybody's entry. It's just not going to work that way. So
Yep. But yeah, he wanted to know if that was me. I said, man, it's 9:30 in the morning.
Jesus.
Hey.
Well, in fairness, aren't you 9:30? Aren't you in Central Time?
No, I'm on.
Oh,
Eastern.
Okay. I didn't know if you were in Eastern Time or not.
Up here in the mountains, we call that fast time. Central Time, slow time. There's fast time and slow time.
Elijah with a comment here, and Billy, you can get in on this. Very possible Final Four of Tennessee, Florida, Bama, and Auburn.
You know, as they say, you need a lot of things to happen, I think, for Tennessee to get in there, and Bama too. As far as Florida and Auburn, you know, that would be good picks, but Tennessee and Bama would need a lot of help.
They need some help.
Yeah, they need some help.
So let me look at my. I'm looking at the bracket here. I've got it right up in front of me. So for that to happen, the 2 seed, like I think Auburn is capable of making it to the Final Four.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good chance to win it too.
On the other side, you've got Alabama as the 2 seed, and in that region, as far as teams that fulfill the metrics, you've got Duke in that region, Arizona, and I think they got one more. Who was the other one? Was it? I think. Well, they've got 2 teams that fit the rankings that can actually win the title.
Yeah.
Alabama does have, in my opinion, a better shot to get to the regional final simply because St. Mary's, I think, is really good. They're not going to have any issues with Robert Morris. Wisconsin's got holes, in my opinion. And, you know, getting to that regional final against Duke is not that far-fetched. Not saying I picked them, but we're talking about what Elijah said here. Let's look at the bracket for, and he said Tennessee and Florida. So Tennessee is the 2 seed in the region with Houston.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
In that region, you've got Houston, Clemson, and I think Gonzaga also has the
they got that's a pretty tough region to come out of.
Right. So Tennessee may be on the losing end of that front.
Yep.
Also, we've got on the other side, Florida has, you know, they could get the defending national champion UConn in the second round. UConn's a team that's playing some solid basketball right now, but I think Florida's got a definite opportunity to go to the Final Four. St. John's is tough though.
Florida's advantage is their depth. They're going like 9 feet deep off the bench.
Right.
So when somebody comes off the bench they're not missing a lick. I mean, that's not some guy waiting for his time to play. They're players.
You got to give the pervert credit. I mean, he's got all 10 of those guys thinking that they're starters. Yep. And, you know, hey, just because you come off the bench doesn't mean that you're not a viable option.
Yeah, they'd be starting at other schools. I mean, you could take Florida's second string and they would be a starting team someplace else. They've got the depth.
Oh, one other little note here that I had in my notes to talk about with Jackpot. McNeese, that Clemson is playing tomorrow at 3:15. They have their head coach, Will Wade, the former LSU coach, has already taken the job at NC State. So he's out there coaching tomorrow. I guess he's going to coach tomorrow. I haven't heard anything different, but he'll coach tomorrow, and then he's going to NC State, which congratulations to NC State. You guys are finally getting back to cheating. Way to go for you.
Big Barney Ross asked me a question. Yes, I am an advocate for all-day breakfast. Hardee's, I got Hardee's changed till noon, so you can get 2 for $5 at Hardee's till noon now.
Oh, goodness. All right, so here you go. Billy, do you have any other upsets you'd like to share with everybody?
I don't have it in front of me. Run down some few. Go down through a few of them there.
All right, so let's look at, you think McNeese can beat Clemson? Let's go there.
No, but it won't be easy for Clemson.
Purdue is playing High Point. Do you think that High Point
No,
has a chance?
not a chance. I've got a better chance of beating.
Troy and Kentucky.
Not a chance.
For Troy or Kentucky?
Troy, come on now. Pick some hard ones. Pick some hard ones.
I'm just trying to get Big Barney Ross.
You know the hard one I have a hard time with is Louisville and who does Louisville play?
Louisville's got Creighton in the first round.
Yeah, that's the hard one for me. I've looked at that sideways up and down and every which way, and I really can't.
Basketball.
The
wife's over here goofing.
I don't see a discriminator in that game. That's a tough pick. That's a tough pick.
That's a tough pick, but I for me that was an easy pick because I've watched so many Louisville games.
Yeah.
Season with them playing in Clemson's conference. I've seen them play 7 or 8 games. I think they're pretty good, and they've gotten better as the season went along.
Yeah.
How about this one? There are a lot of people that are in the boat of UC San Diego winning over Michigan. Is that
no?
That
ain't happening. No, that's not
Yale
happening.
And Texas A&M.
No, Texas A&M.
Okay. How about this one? North Carolina and Ole Miss.
That could be interesting. And if I had to put $1,000 down, I'd have to put it on North Carolina, to be honest with you.
I would bet North Carolina if I were in that situation.
If I had to bet,
say North Carolina is the team to pick there. Now, here's an interesting one. Now, on paper, this should not be a tough matchup, but Iowa State is playing without their best player, and they play Lipscomb, which has all of the. You know what? We're only going to get this shot once. We're going to go out there and play balls to the walls and just go with it. So do you think that there's a shot in hell that Lipscomb can beat them?
No.
Okay.
No.
You're not any fun at this, Billy. Your bracket's chalk.
You're gonna get some good ones. I know what you're doing, but go ahead.
What do you mean you know what I'm doing? I'm giving you matchups there.
Give me some more.
I can tell you this. I've got NC State, North Carolina winning against Ole Miss.
I think I do too.
And I got North Carolina beating Iowa State. Yep. You heard it here first. All right, let's look at. We'll give you some other matchups here.
All right.
Colorado State and Memphis. Colorado State's a 12 seed. They're going to play at the 5 seed. You like Memphis? Okay.
Memphis is
missing a player now. Remember that one of their best players is out too. Maryland and Grand Canyon. I don't know
what's wrong with Vic Tube. Grand Canyon's just going there for the snacks at the end of the game.
Grand Canyon won a game last year, sir, and they got the majority of that team back. Grand Canyon's a pretty good basketball team.
Yeah.
So
if you click on see who they played and who they won and who they beat and stuff, it's
I'm with you.
I mean, that's just like North Carolina. They got a whole lot of L's by their opponents. L.
All right. Texas Tech and UNC Wilmington. I think Wilmington's got a chance.
No. No.
Arkansas and Kansas.
Now that's a tough one. That's a
Yeah.
tough one right there. That's a good one. That's another hard one. And I went with Kansas on that one.
That one was a tough one for me too. But
Oh,
anyway,
that's a tough one.
let's see here. You've got Illinois playing either Texas or Xavier. You think Illinois has got a shot to get upset?
Very much so. Texas is they got a solid team and they run up and down. I mean, they can get up and down the court. So,
well, they've got athletes that they play that they don't have to shoot well to win games. What I mean by that is that they can run up and down the floor and just get layups. It's kind of the way that it works. So currently, that game is also underway. Texas leads 21-13 over the Xavier Musketeers, 21-13 on True TV. About 12 minutes to go in the first half. So Texas, by the way, was a 3-point dog in that game. And I think a lot of that was because, Texas would go out and they would lose a game they had no business losing. And they've got so much talent that you're like, how the hell is this happening? You can make an argument, too, that Texas, they possibly got into the tournament because they're playing the SEC. If they would have played in the Big 12 and had the same record, I don't think they're making the tournament.
probably not.
I really
Probably
don't.
not.
So
That's a good statement. Good statement.
people want to shit on North Carolina, but I give you Texas, and the fact that I was scratching my head when they made the bracket. Same thing for Arkansas. I could make an argument about Arkansas too, but
Did you see the debacle on North Carolina getting in? I mean, the Jay Billis and all them were completely upset because the head of the committees, the athletic, I think the director at North Carolina. So even though said he stepped out, but go look at North Carolina's schedule and look at all the L's. They should have not.
I also think that. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say that what they did last night was easy, but did you watch the game last night at all?
No, I didn't.
So North Carolina scored 47 points in the first half, which was the most that San Diego State has given up in a half in like 7 seasons under their coach, some ridiculous number like that. They shot the ball really well. They played really aggressive. Should they have been there? I don't know. But I tell you what, if they make a run to the Sweet 16, maybe there's just this setup where it's like, maybe they kind of do belong there. But winning a play-in game doesn't mean that you belong in the tournament, in my opinion.
No. When you look at, they broke it down by quad 1 wins, and the 4 teams that are out, Indiana and Ohio State, they had better wins. They had better quad 1 wins. They had better non-con wins than North Carolina. North Carolina, if there's ever the statement backed in, they backed in.
Let's see here. Timothy says Tennessee will probably win first round, then we'll blow out in the second round. Tennessee cannot string together enough wins in a row to make a run. I mean, Tennessee was in the Elite 8 last year, weren't they?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they strung together some wins there.
Yeah.
Like there are people that are frustrated with Rick Barnes.
They're crazy.
Let me back away for a second. Every year, Tennessee is one of the top teams in the conference. So, I mean, and they're always in the NCAA tournament. I don't know what else you want. They always are one of the better teams in the country, and people get upset because maybe he doesn't close it out in March. I get that, but there are a lot of teams that would love. I, as a Clemson fan, I have had to change my tune about Brad Brownell. He had like a 7 or 8 year streak where they were just going to the NIT and playing with their peckers instead of going to the NCAA tournament. Finally, he turned it around. But Rick Barnes every year has that team in the tournament
Well,
and in the upper portion of the SEC.
well, that's just like at parties. I sit up here with a lot of delusional Tennessee fans, and these old gomers up there. Well, if he don't get to the Final Four this year, he needs to be fired and all this stuff. That's idiot. He's tied with the most winningest D1 men's coach in basketball. Who are you going to hire? And there's also something about Rick Barnes that people don't know. He's the vowed Christian man, and he does not recruit from public high schools very much. He goes to private schools, and he goes to private junior college, and what's the other term? Parochial schools. You very rarely see a public high school kid on his team, and he's turned away people that were thugs that are stars on other teams right now. So he runs a clean program. And that's just the way his and people around here that know that they know that he doesn't put up with the BS. And
I loved him when he was at Clemson. I loved him because he would, I remember him looking down at that Clemson played at North Carolina, and I don't give a shit. Like Barnes thought that the referees were in the North Carolina pocket. He'd been talking about it, and Clemson they called so many fouls up there. Clemson played the last, I think, 3 minutes with 4 players. It was one of those games, and he was literally looking down at Dean Smith like he'd lost his mind. So there's that. Let's bring Peckerhead into the show.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are y'all doing?
Couldn't be better.
Welcome to the program, sir.
I just like to be a fly on the wall while people are talking basketball because self-admittedly I'm not as knowledgeable as most. But Billy, I haven't gotten your opinion. Have you seen any of the Eli Ellis tape, the kid who's coming into South Carolina?
No,
that's a good pickup for Don Staley. Way to go.
No.
See, this guy's over here clowning already. Dude, you look like you're about to mix me a pot of ravioli. And you're talking about Don Staley.
Sir, it's hard for me to take you seriously. I mean, your team's not in the tournament, so this is a little bit.
Well, we declined an invite
to the NIT, and
we declined an invite, Rob.
Well, I agree with you. It was Bush League. They should have went.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Should have went. And this excuse, their team. Are you telling me there's not 5 kids on that team that never got a chance to play, that wanted to go, that would have liked to play?
Yeah, exactly right. And
that was.
So,
they should have went.
By the way, last night, did anybody check anybody look at the NIT scores from last night? And I'll tell you why. Because there were a couple of games there that I was looking at, and I'm like, wait a minute, how did this happen? So last night, opening round games in the NIT, okay? Let's see here. Here was the one that got me. Jacksonville State beat Georgia Tech by 17 points at Georgia Tech. So now Georgia Tech was one of those host sites, right? So they have to let everybody play there in that region. Well, they lost their opener, so it's like, but you know what?
Oh, that's fucked up.
We still get to use your facility, and we're gonna have to, these teams that no one gives a fuck about.
Has to go into the fucking hellhole of Atlanta. Too.
Well, there's actually some South Carolina fans use that very reason. They didn't want to lose to some nobody. So we'll just stay home. We'll just stay home, which that's cheap.
It may have been better for the Columbia economy if you're going to have, they have like 8 teams in the region, I think is what it boils down to.
Yep.
If they would have had, so 7 teams coming in, I don't know how well they'll travel, to be honest with you, but hey, you got
at least $100K for the city, bare minimum.
Some money there. Why not? I can understand that. But do you want to go out and lose by 17 fucking points to Jacksonville State? Jesus.
To be fair, Jacksonville State's D1. To be fair.
All of these teams are D1, sir.
Yeah, but they're D1 across like most sports. You got your D1 basketball teams that are, nobody's heard of them. At least Jacksonville State's, D1 across most sports. To be fair,
the thing you got to know about basketball, 5 players. You can find, just like I said the other night, and Big Barney Ross knows this. When I was going to Austin P in '73, they had the nation's #1 scorer, a guy named James Fly Williams. And the whole team was from Brooklyn, New York, and Queens. There wasn't no locals from Clarksville, Tennessee, Bubba John off the farm. They were all from New York City, and they were winners. So you get 5 players that you can pick up. You'd be surprised, and you're going to see some surprises here pretty soon too.
Billy, what do you think because what I've been seeing all over social media is you know I got my statistics pages I follow, Billy. They're your favorite.
I know.
But what they're saying is statistically speaking, Florida and Duke are the only 2 teams that actually have a chance of winning. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm not so sure about Duke because that Cooper Flag, I'm not convinced he rolled his Fly William was out. Yeah, he was. He roomed 4 rooms down. Anyway, yeah, I'm not sure that turned ankle.
Yeah, but you remember when you were 18, man, you could play through anything at 18.
Nah, I don't know.
I'm not that far from it. So
these teams, you have to look at depth. The only reason Tennessee is even considered going place is because they go 9, 10 players deep. And if you look the last 10, 12 games of the season, Rick Barnes was playing 8, 9, and 10 players because it didn't matter. They're just getting ready. So it goes 8, 9, and 10. And the other big point is, and this just like last year I told y'all, whatever team has the best point guard is usually the natty champion. I mean, and that's why Alabama can go for it because it's Cedar.
Except for that Gonzaga, or was it Gonzaga or Villanova that had that lumberjack fuck?
I don't know.
Gonzaga.
Anyway, real quick here. Normally, Chris doesn't say anything that's remotely intelligent, but this is actually a valid question. What about the SEC spring games choice of being televised or a 30-minute video of team practices, etc.? And South Carolina isn't televising the spring games. It sucks for out-of-state fans. Like him. And I pulled up from the university website. They are having the game. So I don't understand why. I mean, the SEC network, I'm sure, would love to carry it, I would think. I'm not speaking out of tune here.
Well, it'll probably be uploaded to YouTube. Most of them end up getting uploaded anyway.
It says, hold on, it says, this is from the university's website. This year's game will not be broadcast on linear or digital video, but will be carried live on 107.5 The Game. Instead, Gamecock fans will be able to get behind-the-scenes look at spring practice as part of South Carolina's all-access practice show that will air later this spring and summer on the SEC network and other ESPN platforms. So I don't know if there's something with – I mean, I wouldn't think there'd be something with the network. I don't think, I give Shane Beamer a lot of shit, but I don't think Shane Beamer's like, hey, we don't want to put it on the network. Yeah. I mean, if that's the case, why would he? You think somebody couldn't walk into that fucking stadium with a camera and film the whole damn thing anyway?
Yeah.
I mean, it's free to go. I mean, shit.
And Chris, just you got time, man. You still got about a month. Just take some time off and make the drive, man. It's a free trip. Spring game's always a blast. Does he
get leave time out of prison? Do they release prisoners for that crap?
Yeah,
he's on good behavior, Billy.
We let him out on leave.
I don't know if his parole officer will let him leave the state.
I don't think his ankle monitor will allow him to go that far.
Says Kirby said it's because they want to control the game time, and Kirby doesn't want to be controlled. Look, and there's some fairness to that, but I put this out a while back that if you want to make the spring game worthwhile, schedule an in-state team and just, schedule that as a game. I'm sure South Carolina State.
The NCAA doesn't allow it. That's what Colorado's going through.
But that's where Deion Sanders is coming through and saying, hey, I want to do this.
Well, they haven't been able. It's not scheduled yet.
Right, I know, but the point is that I think that down the line, why wouldn't you do that?
Oh, I agree. It should be done. I'm just saying the NCAA, they get their feet dug into the fucking turf, and they don't want to let go.
I've suggested for
mean-
years these FCS games that people complain about, especially pointing the finger at Tennessee. Let's play those 2 or 3 games in the spring. Have spring football for the fans. The coaches can play their 2, 3s, and 4s, and play against some high school, in state. Let them get the money, but let's do it in the springtime. Have it in the spring and have spring ball.
That's what I think too, but I think there's 2 things that are going to hinder against that. One is your baseball program is going to be like, wow, you're taking, crowd away from us. And that happens at Clemson too, because Clemson normally schedules their game where, you can go to the spring game and then there's a baseball game afterwards. Maybe the baseball coach is like, yeah,
who gives a fuck though, Rob? Honestly, come on now.
I'm just putting out stuff there, okay?
Let me
But
say
the other
this.
thing too, though, is what happens if you schedule an SC State and you run your 2s and 3s and 4s out there in your South Carolina, and SC State comes out there with their 1s and they hand you your ass?
So
You
what?
think that's not going to affect you in the rankings come the other
No.
part of the season?
No, and
No,
I don't
not
think
at all.
I don't think
Not
they
at
would be
all.
hosted in a way where either team could win. Theoretically, if they did do a scrimmage and it was nationally televised, I highly doubt it would be in any fashion where a team could win. It'd probably be like an NFL joint practice if you think
The
about
neatest thing I did is when I lived in Gainesville, Florida, I used to go watch a basketball game on Saturday. And after the basketball game, you could walk right across the parking lot and catch the second game of a doubleheader and watch baseball. So,
that'd be nice. Yeah.
2 or 3 games isn't going, if you 2 or 3 games on a Saturday isn't going to affect the baseball team that much. In fact, it'd probably enhance it.
I just think that there's going to be some coaches that may
especially if
bitch.
it's right after.
There's going to be some that may bitch. I'm just saying.
Sure. There's always one.
Yeah.
But for the betterment of it, like, I think that the Citadel would love to play South Carolina or Clemson. Or, I mean, you could even go with a Presbyterian, Furman. I mean, there's a long list of teams in state. Hell, they could play Newberry, the college up there in Newberry. Why not? I just think that I just think it just makes sense. But once again, things that make sense do not matter.
Here you
Not
go
an
too.
NCAA.
If you're playing your 2s, 3s, and 4s, and who cares if South Carolina State's 1s beats South Carolina's 2, 3s, and 4s? These 2, 3s, and 4s get to evaluate themselves against a real opponent, and the coaches get to see this in the spring, and it gives them 4 or 5 months. This is what you got to do to crack. This is what you need to do. A good assessment.
It also gives, like, you could really pitch it well. Like, look, you're going to get an opportunity to go out there and
exactly
and play, and maybe get you some NIL money if you decide to transfer.
There you go.
There's that too.
Because if you give the fans what they want, we want to see football, and let's
we want to see football. Yeah.
Like, let's just say that. And let's just put this in a vacuum here. Let's say that South Carolina schedules one of those games and their top 4 receivers don't play because of what Billy said. You're going to run your other guys, all right?
3s and 4s.
But your third string receiver has 3 catches for 178 yards and 2 touchdowns. You don't think people are going to see that film? And he's looking around. He's like, fuck, I'm not going to get up over these 4.
Well, that might even actually be the opportunity that gets him over the 4 realistically.
And when does the portal open?
So,
when does the portal open?
College football has a problem with, like, I think the portal opens up, the 25th, and it's like 11 days in April, something like that. I can't remember, but
they got to fix it.
They got to fix that shit immediately.
Well, Shane Beamer is entering his Muschamp year, all right? And I know Rob likes to poke fun.
What do you mean is Muschamp year? And I'm not.
This was the year Muschamp got fired. This would be the year Muschamp got fired.
5th year. This is 5th year.
Yeah.
Well, but look, I mean, if you look at, other than the wins against Clemson, that's kind of the only. If you just look at it from a perspective of recruiting, I mean, he's had essentially the same recruiting classes, within a few notches here and there. He's won about the same amount of games. I mean, if we just had like the blind resume and you didn't know that about the 2 Clemson wins and the Tennessee win where they just mouth pumped the hell out of
So
them.
like 3 top 10 wins. Just throw that out.
But
no, I mean, but hold on. But
You can't
Muschamp
just
had
throw
top
that
10
out.
wins. Muschamp had top 10 wins, though.
He didn't. I don't think he ever had
hold on a
3 throughout his 4 years.
I'd have to look.
Hold on. This is his 5th year, and I'm not trolling. I'm just stating a fact. Shane Beamer has a losing record in the SEC. If I was a South Carolina fan,
No, I'm not
either
worried
you
about
fix
it.
that this year, he's 2 games below 500.
I'm not
So
worried about it.
but for that
Oh,
to
I
happen,
would be. I would
No,
be.
you have to
get
understand
above-
context. He took over like a 3-win team, 4-win team, Billy.
This is his 5th
There
year.
needs to be context. Yeah, and he's 8.5 games
don't-
over the Vegas line. 8 games over the Vegas line.
But he has a losing record.
I don't think that he's a good coach, but I think it's very far-fetched to think, hey, you have to go 6-2 or we're going to show you the door in the conference.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's fair.
His recruiting is
honest.
not up there with the SEC. He's
But
recruiting in the bottom half.
But
Every single guy he picks up is a
supplements,
stud,
though.
Billy. Lenore's was a
Right.
3-star.
But he supplements, though, with the transfer portal.
That's
and
true, too.
he's been able to bring guys in that, I mean, nobody knew who the fuck Juice Wells was before he went to South Carolina. Let's be honest. He was a fucking
You said the
James
same
Visier,
about
James
Kennard.
Madison.
You said the exact
Kennard's
same
the
about
same
Kennard.
way. Nobody knew who the fuck Kennard was. Okay? I mean, he could take credit for revitalizing Rocket Sanders' career because at Arkansas, he was just sitting there and, you know,
Yeah, he had an average last year at Arkansas. Granted, it was off injury,
but the thing is that he couldn't get out of the damn tub. I mean, he
Yeah.
couldn't get out of the damn training room and get on the field. He comes to South Carolina as 4th in the conference in rushing. So you got to give Shane Beamer credit for all that stuff, okay?
True.
I
But
just
other
think
teams,
that
other teams
on the other
are
hand-
getting these projects too. They're getting these projects too.
I think Shane Beamer is a top 10 transfer portal coach.
well, also
As
this,
far as that he's
this.
gotten and turned
What-
them into
What
good
SEC coach? What SEC coach is developing players better than Shane Beamer right now?
What does that mean?
well, I mean,
That
I
means a lot.
I can make an argument for Lane Kiffin.
Even if you say there's 1 or 2, you have to say he's top 3, and the SEC
Well,
is first
there's only
That's
6
not add up to wins in the SEC. If I was an alumnus and you're
He had
paying
9
millions
wins last year, Billy.
last year,
Yeah, and the
This
year
is-
before we were down 12 starters.
listen
to
to me.
injuries.
You cherry pick stuff. This is his 5th year. He has a
Yeah.
losing record in the SEC.
Well,
That's
look,
a cherry
stop.
pick stat in itself. He's 8
Cherry
games over the
picked.
Vegas line.
I do
what
think there
cherry
are.
pick?
Hold on, Billy. Just calm down a second.
I mean, do you want him to start playing like Alabama year 1, dog? At South Carolina, it was a rebuild. He took
Billy
over a
took his,
fucking 4-win team, Billy.
5 years.
his Geritol
Yeah.
before he joined the
5
show.
years, I understand.
Look,
Billy.
let me put this out there, okay? Shane Beamer.
It's actually been 4 years. This is his 5th, but okay.
There is a section of South Carolina fans that kind of think like Billy. Man, I wish we were a little bit better in conference play. But if South Carolina goes 4-8 this season, they're not firing Shane Beamer. Okay? It's just not going to happen. It's not. All right? I think that if that happens this year, then next year the seat would be
Very
kind of
hot.
smoking a little bit.
It'd be very
Because
hot.
it's like, how is it that we can look at what you've done in the transfer portal and yet you finished 4-8? How the fuck does that happen? And that's a very logical question that he would have to stand up there and turtle his head and have to answer. And the only way he can answer it is if he comes back after that 4-8 season and has his team primed for a playoff run. But if you're 4-8, are you going to get a lot of transfer portal kids? Hey, we just finished 4-8, and guess what? If you don't do well, my ass is going to be the video
Well,
coordinator.
to be
for
fair,
Georgia
he
Tech.
got Rattler. He got Rattler off that terrible fucking Muschamp year. So I think he'd probably be fine with transfer.
You know
even with
that
the 4-8
that's a
season.
valid statement as well. I think that people don't give Shane Beamer enough credit for some of the good stuff that he's done. I don't think he's the best coach in the world. I really, really don't. But you give
He
the
gets
man
no credit. That's a good point, Rob. I mean, when's the
give him
last
credit
time?
for what he's done?
Well,
So-
and he won Coach of the Year. I guess this year he's finally starting to receive the credit he deserves.
There aren't very many. Look, let's put this into perspective for just a second. There are not many coaches out there that can say they've won 2 out of their last 3 games against Dabo Sweeney. Nick Saban
how many
can't say
coaches
that.
in general have just won 9 games at South? I'm about to look that up. Give me one sec.
They've won 9 games at South
Yeah.
Carolina. Lou Holtz did it. Steve Spurrier did it. Who else did it?
I'm about to look
I
it
can't
up.
remember who the if
I'm
Jack Pop.
Imagine
South
that guy
Carolina.
in 85 when we had when we about went to the Natty. Did we win 9 then?
What year
Okay,
we
it's
talking?
Steve Spurrier. So there's only 3 coaches who have ever won 9 wins in a season: Steve Spurrier, Will Muschamp, Shane Beamer.
Well, there you go.
And I'm not being smart, but is that something to be proud of?
But yeah,
No, but-
well, you're over here telling me we need to fire the guy,
hold on,
Billy.
hold on just a
He's
second.
No,
one of
no,
3
no.
coaches
No.
who's ever even won
Hold on,
9
hold on,
games.
Rob. I'm not
It's a
saying
loaded
firing.
stat because
I'm saying this. If
Holtz and
I'm
them didn't have to coach 12 games. So he gets an extra game. So it's kind
That's
of
fair.
an inflated
That's fair.
stat.
I'm saying if I'm an alumnus and I'm paying $500,000 a year to this school for football,
I'm happy.
I'm not happy. No.
We about won the
You
play. We were a cunt hair away from the playoffs, Billy. We were a cunt hair away from the playoffs.
That's
and you're
fine,
talking
but
about
you
people
didn't.
being unhappy. I'm
We're-
speaking
we're-
as a Gamecock fan, telling you we're happy.
Well, that's fine,
Yeah.
and that's kind of mediocrity. Where are
Well,
Wait
you
a
can
minute.
say that, but
Hold
what the
on.
fuck have you done, Billy?
South Carolina. Oh,
You made a playoff and got bounced.
Wait a minute.
Heupel
It's a
doesn't
fair
have a
question,
losing
though.
record.
Wait a minute. It's a fair question. Do you think that there are South Carolina fans out there that are not completely happy
They
with
shouldn't be.
with Shane Beamer? Because I mean, I've heard
Well,
of a
there's-
couple. I can find some on some message
I
boards.
mean,
but
I can
think
find
that he's
Clemson
that-
fans who aren't happy with
Right.
Dabo. I can find
I get
Tennessee
that,
fans
but
who
I
aren't
mean, I
happy with
think he's
Heupel.
that. I think he's that. If we were doing an approval ratings thing, he'd probably be at about an 80-20 split. Is that fair?
Mhm.
I think 85, honestly. After last year and the hype
I'll
going
give
into
you.
this
I'll
year.
give you the 5%. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you. On
And the
that, but
15, you're not going to win over, Rob, unless you're winning the Natty.
No.
That's the thing.
No, because he hasn't won any hardware, so that's he's not going to win that 15% anyway. So that's fair too. But I think that you should give him credit for the things that he's done. But on the other hand, what Billy said makes sense. It's like, fuck, we got to get above 500 in conference play. That's a fair
And better
a fair
recruiting.
too, because
The recruiting's
You
fine,
know-
Billy. Hey,
No, it ain't.
recruiting.
okay, so Lenore Sellers good,
No,
Billy?
you're talking one player. Tell me about team wise.
No.
Okay, how
hold
about
on,
Dylan
South Carolina being
Stewart?
team
Hold on,
wise?
Is Dylan
hold
Stewart
on just a
good?
second.
Team wise.
Hold on,
Is
there's
Juice
a
Wells
big-
good? Is Rocket Sanders good? I mean, come on,
Packerhead,
Billy.
Packerhead, let me help you
Ones
for a
and
second.
Is
twos.
There's
Debo
a
Williams
difference.
good?
Where's
He came in on the
Rocket-
first Beamer cycle.
Yeah.
All right. So you can't talk to you because all you do is want to talk one player. One
No,
I just
player.
named
trying
6
to-
players.
One player.
I just named 6 players.
Where is South Carolina right now?
I just
in
named
recruiting?
6 players
Where
who were
is South
lowly
Carolina?
recruited who ended up being stars, Billy.
Stop
Hey,
it.
listen,
Where is South Carolina right now in recruiting? Where are they? Where are they sitting?
Billy, let me please let
When
me.
I'm
put
trying to
this-
make a point, why are you cutting me off? Where is
I'm
South
not
Carolina in
cutting you
recruiting?
off. I'm trying to tell you there are
Where are they
two
ranked?
different things. There are 2 different things that you're not seeing here. You can talk about the recruiting part of it, and if I look at just the 247 Sports composite, I'm not sure where they're in the top 20. Okay, but if I look at the transfer portal rankings, they're in the top 10. And the other thing that you're missing here is his ability to develop players.
Okay.
That is
Exactly what I was
Okay.
saying.
And he's
but there's
still got a
2
losing
different things.
record.
You can't argue this whole thing of he's doing shitty with the high school recruiting when he's developed. Kennard's going to be at
Okay.
worst an early day 2 pick.
Okay.
Same thing goes for Rocket Sanders, who was sitting on his ass at Arkansas. He's going to be another pick too. You got to give him credit for what he does. Now, is he a whiny bitch? Does he cry
Well,
like a fucking
anyway.
pussy in press conferences? Yes. But in reality, give him credit for what he's done.
Well,
What he's done is he's taken a shit program and gotten them to win 9 games that no one thought they were going to do.
That's what
So
I'm
give him
saying.
credit for that. Give him credit for that.
Hey, going into this year, I think our over-under was what? 6 games, Rob? You could tell me?
Yeah, it was 6 games last year. No, it was 5.5. If I
It
remember
was
right.
5.5. And
Kyle.
last year, you could put it all on him if you want, but realistically, we had at least 12 starters who are out on injury. Our whole O-line was out on injury. Every single starter on O-line ended up on injury reserve. I won't say injury reserve. They ended up missing games. By the end of the year, we didn't have any of our starters.
I gotta correct Chris here. The kid that went from Virginia Tech to Tennessee was pretty damn good. The one that got injured in the South
Well, he's good for half a year.
He had a lights out year. He was leading the conference in passing.
I mean, it was
let's
good
go
for
back
half
to
a year.
basketball. I can't stand to listen to this.
3/4 of a year.
Well, South Carolina did good. They got one player he's developing. Who cares? Who cares?
Billy, even the Clemson fan didn't agree with you. You just had a Clemson fan
he's being nice to
defending
you.
South Carolina because your take was so absurd.
No,
it's not.
No,
it's not.
Look,
I know what I know. I know Beamer has a losing record in the
think,
SEC.
And that's a fair statement. That is an absolutely fair statement.
Fact.
But I could throw at you. Josh Heupel's had two 10-win seasons, and he can't get in the
done
SEC.
shit.
Yeah, he got in the playoffs.
Okay.
He can't get
what
in
do
the
you think
SEC
Beamer would do with top 10 classes if we win 9 wins with
he would
apparently
win a
terrible
natty. He would
recruits?
win a
Hold
natty.
up. Don't cut me off. What do you think Beamer would do with top 10 classes if we won 9 games with terrible recruiting, Billy?
Oh, you'd win a natty. For sure.
Win a natty. So why aren't you up in arms about Josh Heupel?
Hold on just a second here.
Oh, God, Rob, you keep saying hold on.
I know, but the whole thing about you're talking about the recruiting end of it, the best South Carolina team that I ever saw had averaged in the top 15. Okay, the Jadeveon Clowney class was number 9 in the country. And that was with Clowney and all that.
Why is
those
that?
2010 years, those classes were extremely top-loaded, but the bottom of them were terrible.
But here was the thing, though. Spurrier had coaches that could develop, like Coach Lawling, who developed that defensive line. You guys had some motherfuckers on that defensive line, and it was all because of Brad Lawling. Rest his soul, even though he was fucking Lorenzo Ward's wife and had to go to Florida because of it. That's another story.
Let's go back to basketball and watch the let's go back to basketball.
But it's
what
true.
did Big Barney Ross say?
Big Barney Ross says Hendon Hooker. He says Tennessee gets players you don't have to develop. That's fair. Vandy Dandy says Vanderbilt is about to make a Sweet 16 run.
That's possible.
For the women or the men?
Men.
For bowling?
Men.
I don't know about all that.
Who gives a fuck about what Vanderbilt's going to do? Vanderbilt could win the Natty and nobody would give a shit.
Wait a minute. Don't piss on Vandy Dandy. He's happy about his Vanderbilt team.
Vandy, I didn't know that was Vandy. You know what, Vandy Dandy, Vandy's the best school in the country. I thoroughly enjoyed my time on your campus.
Imagine playing basketball. And you've got a bunch of guys that are 5'5". You got 5 guys at 5'5", and you're playing a bunch of NBA players. That's kind of what Vanderbilt does in football every year. And Vandy Dandy still shows up here and talks shit about his team. I appreciate that.
People. He's damn good.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Find us another game, Rob.
That's going to be. I'm going to be happy when if they ever break that streak against South Carolina.
It's got to happen eventually. I just hope it's not next year.
It's not going to be next year.
Find us another good.
That's what I say every year. I just hope it's not next year. You know what's going to happen, Rob? You want in true Gamecock fashion, they're going to be like at the end of the year, we're probably going to have 1 loss, 2 losses going into the game, certified playoff team, Vanderbilt's terrible, and then we lose by 15.
You'll have them the week before the Clemson game and get mouth pumped on the road by a couple of touchdowns.
We'll lose by 15.
And it's
and that might not even – that might be 5 years. That might be 6 years down the road, but they're going to get us when it matters.
It would be the most Gamecock thing ever because then you'd go into that Clemson game at 9-2.
We'd whoop your ass, yeah.
And then beat us.
Yeah.
And then you're 10-2, but you're not in the playoffs because you lost to a fucking 3-9 Vanderbilt team.
Yeah. That's what I'm calling. And I don't know if it's this year. I don't know if it's 5 years. I don't know if it's 10 years, but it's going to happen. Speaking as
there's some Vanderbilt fans with money. They got to get their shit together eventually.
Lots of money.
They hate us. Well, the thing is, I just don't think they care about us. Of course they hate
you. Of course they hate you. You've been mouth pumping them for years. Their fucking jaws are wired shut from y'all been fucking killing them every
day.
I think it's 17 years straight.
That's a medical school. Come on. Find us another basketball game,
All I
Rob.
know is that Diego Pavia didn't have to pay for it. I mean, he had a long list of attorneys from Vanderbilt that were happy to get him another year of eligibility.
Yeah.
So there's that. All right. The other games that we had in the mix here, we talked about Iowa State and Lipscomb. Here's a good one. Wisconsin and Montana.
That's a no-brainer.
Montana.
You're going with Montana. Okay. Gotcha. How about Oregon and Liberty?
Please, Rob.
Well,
Please,
Oregon's got that Phil Jackson.
I'll tell you
Not
what,
Phil Jackson. Who's that
I'll
nice
tell you
guy?
what,
Fifth player.
if you didn't win this thing last year, I swear to God, I would call you Billy Chalk, because everything's been chalk with you this evening. You've not gone out on a limb with anything. All right. How about this game? Baylor and Mississippi State. You 8 or 9 seed there. Which way you're rolling on that?
I'm going with Baylor. And I'm an SEC homer.
Yeah, well, there you go. Let me see if I can
Going
find
Mississippi State. Everything Billy says, I'm saying the opposite.
Okay.
Here you go. The Gonzaga Battle of the Bulldogs. Gonzaga versus Georgia. For me, this one's a horrible matchup for Georgia, but it is an 8-9 game.
Gonzaga.
What you got, Billy?
Gonzaga.
You got to get well. Listen, there's nothing about nothing you can compare to SEC dominance. They're hard tested, they're battle tested throughout the year. Gonzaga hasn't played anybody. They're a bunch of bums. Give me Georgia.
Wait, hold on. That's
What's the next game, Rob? What's the next game?
I can't just let you go with that. So hold on. Let me make sure that I have to give you this too. I don't like rubbing people's nose in the mud, but Gonzaga this season.
Tell him, Rob.
They played Baylor, who's also in the tournament. They played San Diego State, who was in the tournament.
Aztecs.
They played out of conference. They played Indiana. They played Kentucky. They played the defending national champion UConn.
Did they win or did they lose?
They lost to UConn and lost a point to Kentucky. They played UCLA, another team that's in the tournament.
Rough estimate, what was the record over the games you said? You don't got to add them all up, but is it like 50%? What are you saying?
Well, I mean, their out-of-conference schedule was considered, I think what I read, like the 8th toughest in the country.
Yep.
Well, no, I'm wondering how they did against them.
I don't have all of the stuff. I mean, I just have I got to pull the results. But they did beat Baylor. They beat Arizona State, which is another Power 4 school. I see
Georgia.
they did beat San Diego State.
Give me Georgia. Billy don't know what he's talking about.
I think
I got 850 reasons last year that I do.
I will be happy to walk that one back, but I think Gonzaga's going to pull that.
Andy, I got 850 reasons says I do.
Shit.
By the way, if you're not in the contest, you've got to get in the bracket challenge. I mean, this thing
not
starts
in yet. Is he not in?
Who? Peckerhead's in, aren't you, Peckerhead?
No, not yet.
Oh, well, get into the bracket challenge. There's the link right there, okay?
Make sure you get kick off.
First
game's got till noon tomorrow.
Okay.
Noon tomorrow.
Just get into the bracket challenge. The link's right there. Hey, if you win, look, think about this. If you're able to go through and win, the level of shit you could talk to Billy as you've stripped him of his title. Think about that for a minute. Holy shit with all that. That would be some funny shit.
The thing is, it's probably going to be someone who doesn't even call in who wins, and we're not going to get the justice of that stream.
Actually, the people that win have been people that normally call in. I can't remember who won the year before, but Billy won last year, so there's that.
I'm going to give you some help, Andrew. Right now, the odds makers
Chris, I know Big Barney Ross is in, but Chris needs to get his ass in too because he runs his dick sucker. Go and pick some games, Chris.
There's a 50% chance. There's a better than a 50% chance right now. I'm going to help you with your picks that a SEC team wins the Natty.
Well, yeah, it's either Duke or Florida. I'm telling you. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's either Duke or Florida. That's what the stats say.
Well, I was talking about it earlier. The SEC, according to the KenPom system, has Auburn, Florida, Tennessee, and Ole Miss, those 4 teams, according to KenPom, have fit the criteria that every NCAA champion since 2002 came out. So they're right there in the mix.
Man.
So there's that.
Well, and realistically, I could give a shit less who wins it. I'm more. I mean, who's
Well, do you like
they're going to
money?
win it, and then the next day nobody's going to give a shit.
That's
Like,
not
let's
true.
just be
People love
honest.
college basketball.
Come on, dude.
Explain to Matt Reason 850. He wants to. He wants to know why I've got 850 reasons.
See, but this is the thing. Billy is like the prom queen that, like, she won the prom queen because the other 8 girls that were gonna be the prom queen all were outside sucking penis and didn't get up there for the standings. So Billy has taken that role, and he has to be told that he's beautiful, or he's just not going to believe it because he didn't go outside and suck penis with the other 8 individuals.
That's
but
right.
Billy won this contest last year and won $850. So if you win, that's I don't know how many we've got in, but it's the numbers are getting up there. I know it's over $500 already, but you could win some serious jack. I don't know. I'm trying to pull up how many people are in it right now, but it's not that far-fetched to think that you can win
Well,
it.
if you'll humor me while you're pulling it up, I'd like to read some because there were some South Carolina Pro Day people who just had an excellent showing, and my Gamecock fans, I feel they got the right to know. So while you're pulling that up, I'll read this off. To all my Gamecock fans, you'll be happy to know Debo Williams, the linebacker, had 6 more reps on the bench press than any other linebacker in the combine. And he registered the second highest long jump of any linebacker that would have been registered in the combine.
Yeah.
Juju McDowell had 4 more reps than any other running back at the combine. And both Delvon Campbell and Juju McDowell ran a 4.3.
You're not telling them reps of what? Is it reps on the bench?
Yeah, reps on the bench, 225. So I could pull up the official number. I don't have the official numbers. I just know Debo was 6 over any other linebacker, and Juju was 4 over. And both Juju and Delvon clocked in at a 4.3.
Can I ask you something? Are any of those guys going to play for South Carolina next year?
No, well, the reason I'm saying that is because a lot of those guys who don't get invited to the combine, Rob, you got to have some kind of special showing at Pro Day. So I think with that, both Juju and Debo probably guaranteed themselves at least a non-drafted contract. So I'm excited for them.
R liked my Billy's prom queen reference there, but no, I'm serious. Get in. How much do you PayPal to enter? It's $20. I'm gonna post the link right now. Right.
Call your friends and call your family.
You pay jackpot. All right. It's just like the football challenge. It's right there.
PayPal, Venmo, Cash App.
PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. All of it's right there in the link. And then you click the ESPN link after you pay. It's right there. And then you just pick your bracket and it'll add it to the group. Pretty simple. Okay. But enter the damn bracket challenge, for God's sake. For some reason, I know people get in on the last day, but if I don't remind people, then they'll be coming up to me. I didn't know you had a bracket challenge. God damn it.
2 entries, Billy Cole.
No, that's my son.
Yeah, his son's name is Billy too.
Okay.
And if you look, it's Billy Cole the third.
The third? Is that the one who offered to buy you a ticket and you said, no, I don't want to hang out with you at the Vanderbilt, South Carolina game?
Yeah. No,
you dog.
That's
you
not
dog.
him.
You
That's
did that
Scott.
to Billy Cole the third, man.
That's Scott, my son. He lives in Columbia.
Oh, that was Scott. Okay, yeah.
All right. Well,
I don't have 2 entries. I have 1 entry.
Yeah.
He has 1 entry. And yeah,
you can't hold his son entering against Billy. Come on now. That's a bit. Matt Shaw, I'm usually on the same page, but you got to give a little grace to that.
And he picked the wrong national champion, so.
Well, who'd you pick as national champion?
Florida.
Florida. They meet the criteria. I'm telling you, it's Duke or Florida.
He might go back and change. You call me tonight and ask me my opinion. He'll probably go back and change his now to what his dad picked.
I haven't entered it.
Old school listeners.
My son.
The comrade has put his picks in. We'd like to thank the comrade for his donation because that fucker doesn't know anything. But he,
I thought that was Megan.
No, Peg and Megan, that motherfucker. He's his ass is sleeping next to the damn Dick Trophy he won last year for the Pick'em Challenge. Other people that are in it: Big Barney Ross, Vic Tube, thank you. Of course, Billy and Mike Muse, Captain Wig from the Air Force is in it. Thank you, sir. Let's see here. Who else? The comrade has 2 brackets. What the fuck? Comrade has Comrade's pick, and South Carolina was robbed, so he picked 2 brackets. So he gave a double donation. He is double dumb. Fuck.
Well, I got a question to ask y'all. I want y'all to be as unbiased as possible, although I think the bias might show through. What do you think is more likely this upcoming football season? That Georgia is left out of the playoffs, or that South Carolina makes the playoffs? Because I think,
Most unlikely.
me personally, I'm low on Georgia this upcoming year. I'm low on Georgia. Mike Bobo is a clown. All right. I speak from experience. He's an absolute buffoon. He's going to lose them at least 1 to 2 games by himself. And anything after that is just team mistakes. And they're going to make mistakes.
I'm taking the 5th.
I think Georgia, I'm telling you, I think Georgia's poised for maybe a 8-9 win year.
You've never been a guy that didn't put predictions out there. I mean, are you? Oh, I think I understand why. Never mind. I get what you're saying.
There you go.
Look, I'm looking at. I've said South Carolina goes 6-6 as of right now, and I stand by that. Simply because I think their schedule is whacked. But let's look at the Georgia schedule really quick here. As I pull it up right now, Georgia will play Marshall, Austin P. Way to go in the non-con. Their first game.
But then they got Tennessee, Bama, first 2 SEC games.
Bama back-to-back. They at Tennessee and then Alabama at home. Kentucky at home. They go 2 Ole Miss.
A win.
Then they play Florida in Jacksonville.
Win.
I don't think this isn't your mama's Georgia team, Billy.
Well, but they also got they've got. I mean, let's be honest. They've got 3 games on the schedule that I think are going to make them sweat a little bit. And of course, I think that's going to Tennessee.
Oh, we got Esso in the chat.
Alabama, and then you've got. The Texas game.
The Texas game, they're losing to Texas. Guaranteed, that's a loss. Chalk it up. They got 1 loss on the schedule already. I think between the toss-up, there's 3 other toss-ups. They're going to lose 2 of them. I don't think that's far-fetched.
You think they lose 2 of the toss-up games with Tennessee, Alabama, and Texas? That's what you're saying.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think Texas is a toss-up. I think Texas is winning. The toss-ups I have are Ole Miss, Bama, and Georgia. And I think between those, they beat Ole Miss and maybe lose to the other two.
Wait. You can't have Ole Miss, Bama, and Georgia. I mean, this is the Georgia schedule. So it's Ole Miss, Bama, and who's the third one?
Or not Georgia, Tennessee, rather.
Okay. I didn't know where, because you said, I was like, how?
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, Tennessee. I think they're probably losing to Tennessee this year. I think they're if Bama has all right I don't know what their quarterback play is going to look like. If they have decent quarterback play, because last year it was awful quarterback play. Let's just be honest. Milroe was terrible. I mean, he just wasn't good. If they have decent quarterback play, I think Alabama is at least a 9-10 win team.
As for Georgia, I'm going to go back to the last 4 or 5 years of recruiting. They've either had the top class or the second class. So whoever they plug in, their talent pool is better than anybody else's in the SEC, other than maybe Alabama.
Well, hold on. To refute that, Southern Cal has a top 5 class every year, and they have countless seasons where they go 5, 6, 7 wins a year.
Yeah,
okay.
They play in the fucking Pac-12, or not anymore, but you get the point.
Trust me.
I get what you're saying about recruiting. recruiting isn't
Georgia-
everything. If recruiting was everything, Texas A&M would be on top of the SEC as well. I mean, you got to recognize. I get what you're equating everything to recruiting. While there
Not
has to be
everything.
some weight put to recruiting, I don't think it's as much weight as you're putting.
Not everything. Back to basketball.
Well, anyway, Vandy Dandy says bet against all SEC teams on the spread on Thursday. You know,
Are they high lines? That probably was like crazy
well,
lines.
I mean, Texas is a 3-point dog, and they're currently winning by 8 at the half.
Who are they playing against?
So they're playing Xavier. They're 2-11 seeds there. Xavier's a pretty
The
good.
Spiders, right? Black Widows.
No, Xavier is the Musketeers.
Who's the?
Richmond's the Spiders.
Richmond, yeah, I'm thinking Richmond.
So there's that. By the way, since 2015, Georgia has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons where they won 10 or more games, and they haven't won less than 8 games since 2010.
But to be fair to that, Texas wasn't on the schedule during those years. To be fair to that,
how many natties has Georgia got?
Was it 2?
2.
I mean, dude, none of them players are playing though, Billy. Come on now.
I hear that all the time. Trust me.
I think that
Kirby Smart does not need anything from his player pool. He has a player pool second to none in the SEC. Let's just be fair.
So does Texas A&M, Billy.
I mean,
we'll see.
There's validity to Mike Bobo being a cunt. I'll give you that.
I mean, yeah, Mike Bobo is a clown. He himself's going to lose in at least 2 games.
Defensively, they'll win some games defensively. If they get to a point, they'll have the offensive line where they can just run over some people. So there's that. I don't think that those 3 games are toss-ups in my opinion. I think they have 2 toss-up games on the schedule. Texas at home, and the other one is Alabama at home, right? I think Alabama's on the schedule.
They got Alabama at home, so you think they're
those
going to be
2 are
guaranteed
toss-ups
beat
in my
Tennessee?
opinion. I think until Tennessee shows me they can beat them, I'm going to have a hard time picking Tennessee. Exactly. Just like I have a hard time picking Tennessee to go down to Florida and win this year. Because they've taken better teams to Gainesville and got their ass handed to them. So you know what? You need to show me that you can do it before I believe you.
Well, I think the reason I'm saying that is because college football, I've come to realize over the past probably 5 years, it's so quarterback dependent. I mean, if we're realistically speaking, there isn't a single team in college football that's going to win without good to great quarterback play. And I don't think Georgia's going to have that this year. I don't think Mike Bobo is conducive to creating an offense where quarterbacks can excel. And I don't think Gunnar Stockton is ready, to be honest. I don't think he's ready to step in. He should have had more play time. I mean, he's been there 3 years. He's logged, a game and a half. I don't think he's played enough minutes.
Let me ask you a question. In the last 3 years, when Gunnar Stockton is going against probably one of the better defenses in practice 5 days a week, who's a better defense than Georgia that he's been playing against in practice?
You can say that, but also if that's the case, every scout team quarterback in the NFL would be a star.
Well, that's right up there with, he might not be able to play before 80,000 people. I don't get that. What's the next basketball game? This drives me crazy.
First of all,
how does that drive you crazy?
Here's the gist of that question. You were asking, do you think South Carolina is going to have a better season than Georgia?
No.
That's
I guess you could frame
what you
it
were
like
saying.
That.
You said, now correct me if I'm wrong here. It's not a straw man argument, as you call it.
No, I said I guess you could frame it like that. Yeah.
South Carolina makes the playoffs or Georgia makes the playoffs.
But in my scenario, also to give myself some credit, there's also a high likelihood South Carolina and Georgia could make it at the same time, to be fair, because they wouldn't play each other The only time they would play each other would be the SEC championship.
We've
So to
got
give
plenty of
myself
time
a
to
slight
correct
bone,
nonsense
they
there.
could both make it.
Well,
How old are you, Andrew?
I'm 24. How
Okay.
old are you, Billy?
I'll be 70 in July.
Damn.
What's that next region you're looking at, Rob?
first of all, I have to acknowledge Vandy Dandy because he gets to run his mouth because Vanderbilt beat Alabama last year, and he gets to say this stuff. DeBoer better get ready. He may not survive a loss in Tuscaloosa to Vandy. We have to put that out there because Vanderbilt doesn't really get to run their mouths very much. Thank you for that.
Well, that's a good point. I'll
So-
ask y'all, do y'all think Vanderbilt is going to be as dangerous as they were last year, realistically?
I think Vanderbilt's
Yes.
going to be a 7-win
Now
team.
let me answer that for you. What did you just say a few minutes about quarterback play?
I don't think Pavia is a crazy good quarterback is the thing.
Oh, you
I
don't?
mean, he looked pedestrian
So,
against South
he's a-
So
Carolina.
why did they win last year?
Well, I'm just saying he looked pedestrian against South Carolina. I didn't watch any other Vandy games.
Did he beat Alabama?
Yeah, a lot of. I mean,
Okay.
Oklahoma beat Alabama.
All
You
right,
won't give nobody credit.
I give plenty of people credit.
Vanderbilt
who-
will be a threat next year. Vanderbilt is not an automatic L on your schedule.
Well, they got to play at
Yeah, I
South
mean, we beat them by
Carolina.
what,
doesn't.
30, 25, 30? I mean, I'm
Well,
not
I didn't
necessarily
mean you.
worried about Vandy. And we get them at home this year.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think the last time that Vanderbilt, I'm trying to remember the last time they won at home.
It was, I'm
Won
pretty
at
sure it
home,
was
South Carolina.
2007. They beat, the last
No,
time
that
they
was
beat
at-
South Carolina.
That was at. I know, but
That
I
was
was
at
that
Williams
was-
Bryce. I don't know the last time they won at
I
Nashville,
don't think
though.
it was. I'm not trying to battle you here, but
Well,
I
I
don't
was at the
remember
last Vanderbilt win I was at. It was like 2007. It's
Let's see what
actually
this
one of the
is.
earliest Carolina games I remember.
yeah, it was. It was. You're right. 2007 is the last time they won in Columbia. They beat the Gamecocks 17-6. You guys had the twofer because you lost there the following year,
Mm-hmm.
24-17. But you look at that, Vanderbilt wins in twos. Like they have 4 wins total against South Carolina. They won 2 games in 98 and 99, and then 2 games in 2007 and 2008. They're due. Those motherfuckers are due.
Well, the thing is, there's nobody's due in football. They're going to have to be the better team. Football isn't something you just roll some dice out and you get 7 or 11. I mean, they're going to have to come out and beat us, and I'm not sure they're able to do that right now. I mean, defensively, they're very weak. The only thing you can point to is Pavia, and I mean, he was pedestrian at best when he played South Carolina last year. He got helicoptered. He literally got John Elway helicoptered. So like I don't agree with the. I think
South
Vanderbilt
Carolina
you could chalk
controlled
up
a
as a
lot of
win this year.
scrimmage of that game. So anyway, no, I'm not going to go on the record and say South Carolina loses to Vanderbilt because once again, I give them the same theory that I give Tennessee playing at Florida.
Right.
Until I can. Vanderbilt didn't have a win in my 30s against South Carolina, an entire fucking decade. Until you can actually go and win that game, I'm going to pick against you. Sorry.
Well, and that's what I told there were a bunch of mouthy Vandy fans. I was like, dude, your kids have never seen you beat us. Like, why are you talking?
I don't think you can watch a Vanderbilt win in South Carolina in high definition. If you were able to get a VCR tape with the last win on it and put it on your TV, it would be in the little box like that. And
Billy brought this Vandy hate. I just want y'all to know I don't even hold hate in y'all's heart. But he's like talking like we might lose to Vandy. That's
No, I didn't say
insane.
that. I'm just
We're
putting
whooping our
out
ass.
the quarterback thing.
Well,
the quarterback, Pavia. Do you think Pavia is a top 5 SEC quarterback, Billy?
I'd probably put him 5th.
5th? Well,
He's
I
up there.
think I could name. Oh, I think Sellers is better. Lagway is better. I think Nico's better. I think Nussmeier's better, and I think who's that guy Mater? That guy Oklahoma. I mean, I think Mater's. I think that's 5 right there. That's better.
Well, I look. Maybe it's just me, but it's one of those things with Manning that I have to be. He has to show me against big boys that he can actually play. So I'd take Pavia over Manning.
Yeah, y'all have noticed you and Cal are really low on Arch. What do you think about Arch, Billy?
He played against a bunch of Christian school kids.
No, I'm not
In
saying
high
it's
school.
not justified. I'm just saying I have noticed y'all are low on him. I just wanted Billy's opinion as well.
I
not saying
wouldn't.
it's
I would not
unjustified.
question Sarkeesian's ability to judge talent.
You know
I
what?
think
I'm
he's
tired
there
of hearing
for a
that
reason.
shit too. I could throw that motherfucker's evaluation of talent off by sending him a damn case of Big Barney Ross's finest fucking bourbon. I could have that motherfucker off the damn rails in a second. So let's stop with that bullshit.
I can't believe. By the
I'm-
way, speaking on that, I can't believe BBR hasn't started his own distillery at this point. The love that man has for bourbon, it's actually baffling.
That's because he's trying to save Kentucky football.
He's sending the NIL.
He's over there with the Far T Farms out there. Go and follow him on Facebook. He's out there butchering hogs and shit to damn funnel NIL money to Kentucky to keep Stoops so they can get themselves a damn 7-win season.
Yeah,
Don't be walking
yeah.
Big Barney Ross, sir. He
And
ain't
the
got
thing,
time for your
speaking
bullshit.
on that, they're going to be in dark days when Stoops leaves. I mean, who's
course
going to
they
step
are.
up and be like, I want that Kentucky job?
Well, I tell you what, if Big Barney Ross's wife finds out how much money he's been funneling into that NIL program, it's going to be a problem. I'm just saying, just a vibe that I get. Just a
Hey,
vibe.
Big Barney Ross, why you think Jared Lorenzen, how you think he got so fat? Oh, hefty lefty. That's the
He was eating at
BBR
the
under the
RT
table
Farms
NIL,
and
baby.
drinking beer and bourbon with Big Barney Ross. That's how he got
it's that BBR funded
like
McDonald's.
shit.
The BBR funded McDonald's. I'm telling you, he's been doing it for years. We got to investigate him.
No, in Kentucky, it's the Sirloin Stockade. Big Barney Ross knows about that. Just picture a poor man's Western Sizzlin'. That's what they have up there in Kentucky. Big Barney Ross got him a gold card to go to Sirloin Stockade. That motherfucker was eating damn 3 steaks at a time and banging the cocktail waitresses on the way out. Big Barney Ross is gonna hit me for that. He'll be texting me later. Hey, asshole. My wife
Here's
hears
more-
this shit.
Let's look at some more basketball games, close ones.
All right. Well, that's that. I got one more, and then we got to wrap the program. Let's see here. Oh, the final one that we already talked about Tennessee. Excuse me. We talked about Clemson and McNeese. What was the other?
Oh, hold
one?
up. Well, before you get into it, I don't know if you know this, Rob.
Last one. UCLA and Utah State. There you go.
That's a tough one.
Wiggle your
That's
way
a tough
through that one, Billy.
That's a tough one. I forgot who I picked, but I looked at. I think I went with Utah State because you got to pick some upsets here and there. You just can't go down there and pick what the numbers are. You got to pick some upsets.
Billy, and Rob, when you picked your Clemson game, that might have some information you might not have known. And I'd
About
like
the
to share
Clemson
that with
basketball
you.
game?
Yeah, about the Clemson versus McNeese game.
Yeah. Okay. What do
McNeese,
you have?
I got something for you.
Inside tip here.
All right, listen.
Let
McNeese.
me just warn you. Let me just warn you about this right now.
Okay.
I have a stat that will completely shit on every stat that you have.
It's not really a stat. It's not really a stat that I've got.
I'm trying to look. Do you remember Top Gun? You see Top Gun, the original Top Gun, with Maverick and Goose, and
It's okay.
they punched out. They punched out, right? I'm giving you the opportunity to punch out without blowing your head off like Goose did.
No,
Dude,
I want to say what I want to
that
say
was
this. I want to say this.
All right,
I want to say
fair
this.
enough. Go ahead.
So McNeese State, I don't know if y'all know this. They have the best glue guy in the nation.
Sure.
All right. They have a glue. Do you know what a glue guy is, Billy? Surely you know what a glue guy is.
No, I'm cut man.
As a basketball coach, you don't know what a glue guy is? Come on now. All right, a glue guy. Think of when you were in your coaching days, Billy. Did you have one player? Maybe he wasn't the best. Maybe he was a manager who just kept the team together. He hyped up the team. He got the team in the right spirits. Did you ever have that?
That was me.
So, all right.
So you were the glue guy.
That's
All right, you were the glue
Nobody.
guy.
I ain't relying on no kids.
Well, McNeese State has a manager who's the best glue guy in the nation. So well, in fact, Rob, I see you rolling your eyes, but listen to this. He is such a good glue guy. He has received an NIL deal as a fucking team manager. Have y'all ever heard of something? So a team manager getting NIL? Isn't that absurd?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss in front of Jaden.
No, that's my daughter telling me good night. But are you ready for the stat that you don't get?
Yeah, but hold up. Tell me. Speak on that. Isn't that crazy that a manager's getting
That's
NIL?
crazy.
That realistically
Well,
speaking,
he's on the team and his family is probably
No.
impoverished and they need some money.
Oh God.
You know,
Should I give it to him, Billy, or just let the show end?
just go ahead and give
yeah.
it to
Tell
him.
me. I just wanted your opinion on that. Not even talking about Clemson
I
versus
think it's
McNeese. What do
nice
y'all think of a
when you're
manager
passing out
getting
money.
NIL?
When you're passing out money, why not give some money to the manager?
Yeah, probably
Well,
one of
he's
the
the only
reasons
one
why-
though, Billy. That's what I'm saying. He's
Right.
the only
Well,
manager getting NIL.
there's
You
other
know what?
schools.
I venture to say that he won't be getting one next season. Do you want to bet on that? You want to know
If he's
why?
there, I guarantee you he does. Yeah,
No, it doesn't matter if he's there or not. Do you want to know why?
sure.
His fucking coach said, "Fuck this program. I'm going to NC State."
Well, his
Their
coach
fucking
doesn't
head
divvy out
coach.
NIL, Rob.
Their head coach is like, you know what? Fuck these assholes. I'm going to go to NC State.
No, I understand. You're focusing this more on the McNeese State versus Clemson angle. I'm more so wanting to focus on just the manager getting NIL. Isn't that like that's just crazy to me?
Well, you know what? Hopefully, NC State will honor his NIL contract up there.
Well, why would he? He's not going to follow the coach, surely. I
Well,
doubt he'd follow the
you don't think
coach.
that the coach whispered to people to get him an NIL deal?
Oh well, yeah. If he got an NIL, yeah, at
I
NC
mean,
State, yeah.
Will Wade's on the record saying he paid for point guards at LSU. I'm sure he has no problem telling you he paid to get this kid on the NIL deal for giving us towels and guarding the end of the bench.
That's what I'm saying. Though, isn't that just funny as shit that a manager's? I don't know how much it is.
It's
but
not
he's
that
collecting
funny.
NIL.
Yeah.
Not in this day and age. Not
What's
this
that?
day.
Oh, you don't think that's surprising? Well, he's the only one though, Billy. He's
We
literally
don't know that.
No,
You
I
don't know
do know
what.
that. It was in a sports article I read.
Uh,
It was like it was news. News,
All right,
Billy.
look.
The NIL has shifted. Now,
Yeah,
you know the next step. Shane Beamer is going to be getting NIL. Dabo is going to be getting NIL. Heupel is going to be getting NIL. Supplement that
we're
salary.
already getting NIL. It's called Nike and Under Armour contracts. All right.
there you go.
The link to get into the Callaway's Pick'em Challenge is right there. If you haven't entered, please do. All right.
Andrew.
It helps the show. So if you like the show, drop the $20. Try to win. How much did you win last year, Billy? Tell us.
Over 850 big ones.
There you go. You have an opportunity to win some money. Even
And
if
he
you
didn't
don't
buy
know
his
anything,
kid a
probably
damn
helps.
thing with it. He spent it all on himself, the greedy bastard.
My kids make
right.
too much money for me to buy buying them. Let me give you another tip, Andrew.
Oh, shit.
When you start looking at these teams picking, look at the point guard, what his points per game is, and look at his backup. If that team don't have a good backup point guard,
They're gonna lose.
exactly.
Yeah.
You gotta and also in the games, during the games, watch the last 5 minutes. Watch the free throws and the turnovers in the last 5 minutes. And that will determine a close game. Watch what happens.
That's what killed South Carolina throughout the year.
I watched.
Yeah.
No, South Carolina was just played in a tough league. That's all. And that's
Well,
fact.
down the stretch though they were pretty shit. From the game, I didn't even watch a lot of basketball, but every game I watched, they were shit down the stretch as far as shooting.
If this supposedly sorry South Carolina team can take Auburn and lose to Auburn within 3 points, they're a legit team.
Yeah.
They just come up. It's just
They
one of those
won
things.
12 games, Billy. Come on.
And they
Well,
better
I'll let you two gentlemen. I'll let you two gentlemen finish.
they better
but I wanna
leave
leave you
Lamont
with this.
Parrish alone too.
I want to leave you with this. Shane Beamer, head and shoulders better than Coach the Muschamp. I'm so glad that we jumped off the ledge and we took a risk hiring him. Not many schools will take that risk.
Who
South
else could you
Carolina
have
took the
hired?
risk, and it's
Who else
paid
was
off.
who else was on the list to be hired?
Billy Napier.
Well, hold on. What? No quarter zip? You're not gonna talk about quarter zip? Come on, man.
He bitched out of the NIT. How could I talk about him?
Quarter zip. Come on.
Yeah, I
quarter
agree with
zip.
He
Andrew.
bitched out of the NIT, man. What do you want me to say? I already said what I had to say about him last week. He bitched out of the NIT.
Yep.
So
Basketball season. Talk
to
to
me, until he wins some shit, he's in bad graces with me. But regardless of that, Shane Beamer, we took the risk. It paid off. All right. And you know what? You know what, gentlemen? we might just make the playoffs next year.
There you go. Peckerhead leaving the program. Billy, thank you.
Good night.
Once again, I did get a text from Kale saying, I slept through it. And I just told him, just rest, my friend.
I should
All
have
right.
called him and woke him up.
Yeah, call him, wake him up.
Woke me up
Anyway.
at 9:30 in the morning.
Enter the challenge, all right? The link is right there in the description.
Good night.
There you go. Thanks, Billy.